Good morning, everybody. I posted your grades on your essays and a bunch of other information I want to go through. Okay, so our schedule for next Friday, these three things are going to be due a week from today by midnight. So, rewrite of assignment one, which I'll go over in a little bit, rewrite of essay one, which is optional. I'll go over that in this little session or lecture. The three articles assignment. Okay. And then these study questions for this video called The Battle for Citizen Kane, over Citizen Kane. This document is posted on our content page as well. Okay, for the rewrite of essay one, okay, it's an optional assignment. Okay, this is how it works. Sorry, I got up real early today to grade those papers, so just be patient with me. I'm a little out of it. I need another hit of coffee. All right, so you will gain 6 percentage points in addition to the grade that's posted on D2L. So, for example, hypothetically, if a student got a 160 out of 200 on the assignment, did the rewrite, and I really liked what the person did on the rewrite, I would add 12 points to their score, which is 6 percentage points. All right, so that grade would go from a 160 to a 172, would go from an 80% to an 86%. So for me, the rewrite's important for the reflective process. I want you to reflect on your writing. I want you to be thinking about your writing in that sense, which is really important to do, to reflect on your writing and so forth. But also, it's also great insurance policy for grades at the end of the semester. A 6% boost on an assignment with 200 points will carry a lot of weight in bringing up your grade. But what I like to do is give people an incentive to go back and do the reflection on their writing that takes place during the rewrite. Here's what I want you to do during the rewrite. Okay, you have the original copy. You're going to produce a draft that improves on the first graded version, looking at all the things I told you and fixing them, looking at other things that you believe should be fixed. Okay. On the new version, you have to highlight those changes. Okay, with the highlighter option on whatever platform you use to write your essays. You have to highlight the changes for me. All right, on a new document, then you're going to turn in one document that has the old version, meaning the first version you wrote on it, and then the second version with the highlighted changes on it. So when I look at the highlighted changes, I can go back and look at the original paragraph and I can see the changes that you've made. All right, then at the end of that long document, so that documents can contain the first draft, your second draft with the highlighted changes on it, and below the highlighted changes, you're going to write a page reflection that it explains the changes that you made and what you learned from those changes and what it taught you about the process of writing and so forth. Okay. And that will be the assignment itself, which can give you a boost. So, a lot of people who are in the 82, 83 range or 85 range, if you rewrite that, that essay can go from a B to an A, which again will carry a lot of weight. But again, the most important piece to me is that it's reflective in nature and you're really thinking about the changes you've made. Now, I'd like to offer the rewrite for the first assignment. I may not offer it for the second one. That one I'll just keep open ended. But for the first one, I'd like to offer it because people are just getting to know my grading style and I'm getting to know your writing, and we can sort of learn and go from there. Okay. Remember, it's an optional assignment. It's totally up to you whether you want to do it or not. That'll be due next Friday. I also posted this on there to go with the rewrite. Okay. Sometimes people struggled a little bit setting up their quotes properly. You can review this. It'll give you a good review of the first 2 pages of how to set up quotes. But I also really want to show people on the second page of this handout is something a lot of people rely in their writing, many students, okay, at all levels rely on this verb shows when they're writing these academic papers. For example, to say like Blackman shows the ugly side of racism in the post-Civil War South. You don't want to only rely on the word shows. Since you have to explain so many quotes in these essays, and since you have to explain so many quotes in your research paper down the line and an essay too, you want to go to different verbs than just shows. So use these verbs, okay? Use this. Blackman illustrates the terrible racism of the South through his investigation of the convict leasing system. All right. He emphasizes how terrible this system was through his depiction of the Pratt mines. So you use these different verbs in your setup, in your quote explanations, and throughout your papers. Just don't rely on that word shows. You need that kind of achieve that level of sophistication. And I've always thought that this box of verb, I call it the box of verbs, but it's so good for these academic papers to use that and to vary your verbs instead of relying on it. Okay. Bear with me 1 minute. I have to go to our content page here. Sorry, I forgot to have this open. Okay, the other thing I want you to do, all right, is to watch. You've watched Citizen Kane. That was the only homework you had for this week. Our next essay is going to be a mini research paper on Citizen Kane. Okay, the next thing that I know is you need to watch this. This will begin our research project or research process on Citizen Kane because essay 2 is going to be a mini research paper on Citizen Kane. Okay, and this documentary is the first step in understanding the complicated nature of that film and its story. And documentaries are a great way to gain background knowledge about a subject that you're going to research. So we're going to implement some of these researching skills into this next assignment, okay, which will be essay 2. So this is a documentary about Citizen Kane that I find fascinating and will give you a great depth of background about the director Orson Welles and about the man for whom Kane in the movie was based on, William Randolph Hearst. Okay? So you have to watch this for next Friday. And then you're going to do these study questions. Okay? On that documentary. They're not on Citizen Kane, but they're on the documentary. Okay? Just to process that. Okay? Now, lastly, to start this process, all right, and do what I want to do for essay 2 is implement some of the researching skills that you're going to need to be able to use when we write the research paper, starting in late March after we finish essay 2 and all through April and finishing up in early May. All right, is to start doing some research of your own. Okay. All right, and this is an articles assignment. All right. So I want you to watch the documentary on Citizen Kane first, the battle over Citizen Kane first in this process, and then do those questions. And then I want you to do this assignment. Okay. So you're going to start practicing some researching. Okay. And that you're going to do through this assignment. All right. It's due next Friday. You're going to find 3 articles on Citizen Kane from the Academic Search Complete, EBSCO. This is available to you as a student. All right, I'll go over where this is at in a minute. All right, but here's what I want you to do. You're going to read each article, okay? Citizen Kane is often bestowed the award, so to speak, of being the best film ever made. It's a fascinating story about how it was made, which you'll watch in that documentary, and then you got to find some articles about it. And then this is sort of starting that process of doing a mini research paper as a rehearsal where we implement some of the skills, many of the skills you would need for the research paper through a smaller version, a 4-pager, and then you get feedback on it. Again, we're laying the foundation here for the big paper at the end. All right, I'll go back and we'll go back through navigating this Oakton Library page here in a minute. All right, you're going to read each article carefully. You're going to write a paragraph that summarizes each article. The paragraph should be double-spaced in Times New Roman font. So you're going to read the article and come up with 3 paragraphs summarizing the article. And that's something that we do in researching too. We summarize sources as a way in which to do our research. All right, then you're going to create a works cited page for your 3 articles, something you have to be able to do. The citation piece, remember, use MLA on this. You go there and you're going to navigate through that to do the works cited page. And then you're going to make one document for both parts. Okay, you have the first part with your 3 paragraphs, and then on a new page, the works cited page for the 3 articles you found. Okay. Now, what you have available to you, okay, as a student, is this research catalog. And you're going to go here to find articles, and you're going to go on EBSCO. It'll ask you to log into your MyOakton. I'm already logged in, so it's taking me there. Okay, and this is where you're going to play around searching for some academic articles on Citizen Kane. Now, we are going to use these database websites for when we do our research paper starting at the end of March. We'll start talking about research topics and stuff after spring break. You have to be able to use this as a source finder, so to speak. Oakton pays a lot of money for these licenses. You have access to them because you pay tuition at Oakton. This is the search engine amongst one amongst several, and we'll go over the other ones after break. When we start really getting into the mechanics and the parts that go into a research paper. But I want you to play around and find some sources on here now for the Citizen Kane, the film, critical takes on it, and so forth. And what I want to do, one of the skills I want you to learn, is that we use these kind of academic databases when we do research, and to get away from just going to Google. Okay, we want to use these databases. They're academic articles. These are the kinds of sources you use for a research paper. Okay, and Oakton pays a lot of money for them, and you have access to them because you're paying a lot of money in your tuition. Okay. Always remember something too about research or any questions you may have, even for this assignment. All right. Ask the librarians. They're awesome. They've done a great job through COVID for me. This is the 3rd or 4th class I've taught since we've had to be in quarantine, and they are still doing a wonderful job at constructing ways in which to help you. You can chat with a librarian, anything. Remember this, the Oakton librarians are amazing. You need to know that for this assignment, but you also need to know that down the road for the research paper itself. Okay? All right. So just to review our schedule for next Friday, okay? You do the rewrite if you want to, it's optional. Then you're going to watch the battle over Citizen Kane. You watch that next, okay? Then you do those study questions. And then you start doing some research on the assignment. 3 articles for Citizen Kane for next Friday. Next Friday, I will be assigning the first stage of the SA2, which you'll have 2 weeks to do, okay? Which won't be in the rough draft for SA2 will not be due to the 26th because I'm going to give you the week of spring break off. Meaning, since I've been posting things on Fridays now, okay, you'll have something due the 12th. You will have nothing due on the 19th because it's spring break, and then we'll next Friday I'll provide what has to be done for the 26th. Okay. All right. I enjoyed reading your essays. Make sure you go back and look at those. Do the rewrite. Help that grade out, but most of all, do that reflection so you're fixing the things in your writing. The grades, to me, at the end of the day, grades are important, but they're inconsequential to me on these essays because mainly I just want you to learn and reflect on what you've done and how you can fix those things for the future, because that's what we're here to do. Produce this writing, reflect on it, and then do the rewriting so that you learn the things you need to learn so you don't repeat them the next time. Okay? Have a great weekend. Email me any questions you might have. Take care, you guys.